All right, so tomorrow is Wednesday. Everyone's invited on Wednesdays to come to after-school tutoring for STAR. Try to get ready for that STAR test, 4:30 to 6. Get snacks. I know y'all are hungry already tomorrow, right after school, right? All right, stay as long as you can, all right? So that's for my class. Okay. Cool. Now, these assignments, they're going to go in today. I'll give you an updated grade tomorrow. And then tomorrow you're going to get your review because test is supposed to be Thursday, right? That way on Valentine's Day, you're not taking a test, right? You're hopefully doing whatever we're doing that day, but not a test. Cool. So, yeah, test Thursday. Now, this warm-up's based on yesterday's notes and assignment. So how do you take a trinomial, a polynomial, and find if it has factors? Well, yesterday we learned how to do it in Desmos. You graph the original polynomial, you graph the factors, and see which one has the same x-intercept. Where does it cross the x-axis? At the same point. So we're going to do true or false here on this warm-up. So in Desmos, I'm going to type in x squared plus 5x plus 6. Right? So you can see the two x-intercepts right here and right here, right? And I'm going to type in each of these factors. So if I do x minus 3, does that cross the same x-intercept? This does not cross here or here, so that's false. That's not a root. That is not a factor. All right, well, what about x plus 2? Y'all see how to do this? Does this look familiar from yesterday? Right? So this green line, x plus 2, it does intersect a x-intercept. So that is a true factor. True. What about x plus 3? That purple one, hey, look, it does hit an x-intercept. So that is true. Well, what about x minus 2? That one does not. Okay, that one's false. Okay, so I hope you see how we did this. You graph the original polynomial, you graph the roots, and if they share the x-intercept, that's a factor. So if you weren't here yesterday, that's a quick version of what we learned. There's an assignment right here, is what it looks like, and the notes are in the blue bin, okay? Today we're going to do some other quick notes and a short assignment. So let me show you this. Now, if you are asked to factor and it's not multiple choice, you got to know how to factor, okay? Now, factoring can be easy, and then it can also be difficult. So today we're going to do the easier factoring. We call it basic factoring, basic quadratics, okay? So, everyone has the notes. Let me pull it up over here. All right, here we go. So everyone, no headphones. Everyone's looking up here because this is brand new. It's not that hard, but gotta be locked in, okay? Everyone's looking up here, right? Not phones. All right, so when you're factoring a basic quadratic, and this is with no multiple choice, right? No multiple choice. When you actually got to do it yourself, here's what you do. Now, remember we've been saying the word polynomial, right? When you have a trinomial, 3 terms with an x squared, okay, this is called a quadratic equation. Okay, so does everyone see when I say the word quadratic, what I'm talking about is an x squared, x, and constant trinomial, okay? Now, When you have it in this form, this is called standard form, trinomial with x squared, x, and a constant. And there's going to be three numbers, a, b, and c. You got to be able to find those three numbers. So here's an example right below here. We want to identify a, b, and c. So now I'll start with c. C is 12. That's easy, right? B is 8. That's easy, right? But A, if there is no number there, what number goes there? 1. Remember from week 1 in my class, Invisible Math, just an X means 1X. Okay? So I'm going to draw that little 1 in front. No number means 1, and it's 1. Okay? So far, so good. A, B, and C are the three numbers. A and B are coefficients. C is the constant. That's how it works. Now, this next part is already typed out, but let me explain to you what it's saying, okay? First thing you do is identify the C value. For today, it's just the C value. So the C value right here is 12. Cool? Now, the second thing you do is you take that 12 and you want to find all the factors of 12. Does everyone know that factors are numbers that multiply to make another number? So what are the factors of 12? 1 times 12, 2 times 6, 3 times 4. Like these are the only numbers that are going to multiply to make 12 that are whole numbers. Cool? Those are my factors. Now step 3 is you got to figure out which of those factor pairs is going to add to make the B value of 8. So again, those factors have to multiply to make C, 12, add to make B, which is 8. So you tell me, is 1 plus 12 8? No. Is 2 plus 6 8? Yes. Is 3 plus 4 8? No. So do you see how we found the factors that multiply to make C? I identify which one of those adds to make B, 8. And here's what you do. You take those two numbers and you put them in two parentheses. You make two binomials with x and your two factors. And that's it. Now, I know I just described what's already there, but I'm going to show you 4 examples below. Actually, 3 examples below, okay? But let's do that. The one thing I want you to notice is what we're doing today. Do you remember it was on the scavenger hunt, okay? It was February 4th and 5th. We took 2 binomials, did double distribution, and ended up with a trinomial. But I want you to notice today, we're doing it backwards. We're starting with the trinomial and ending up with 2 binomials, okay? So we're going back and forth between factored form and standard form. Standard form to factored form, okay? We're able to go 2 ways down this street. All right, well, let's give it a shot. We have on number 1, what is my C value, okay? So my C value right here is 6. So I want you to write 6, draw a little line, and we're going to write all the factors of 6. What 2 numbers multiply to make 6? And I would suggest always starting with 1 times the number, right? To get 6, it's 1 times 6. So here we go. 1 times 6. Before you write more, I like to be very thorough, okay? So it's very important that you know that there are multiple ways to get to positive 6. And the other way to multiply 1 and 6 is if they were both negative. Isn't negative 1 times negative 6 a positive 6, right? Negative times a negative, positive, right? So technically that is an option. Just want to make sure we know that you can change both signs and you get the same result when you multiply. Next thing, what else multiplies to make 6? 2 times 3. 2 times 3 is 6. And just like last time, if I make them both negative, they'll technically multiply to make positive 6 because the negatives cancel out when you multiply. Now, that's it. There are no more options. Like 2 times 3 is the same as 3 times 2. You don't need to put that down, okay? Now, I'm going to start looking at each of these pairs and think about which one adds to make the B value, 5. So does 1 plus 6 give me 5? No. Does -1 minus 6 give me 5? No. Does 2 plus 3 give me 5? Yes. I have found two numbers that multiply to make +6, but add to make +5. That's pretty much factoring. Okay, so here's what you're going to do. You're going to put two parentheses. And what gives you x squared? X times x. Those are your first terms. Okay, write this down. And then what numbers, what was the factors that I circled here? 2 and 3. They're both positive. So I'm going to put +2 +3. That's it. That's factoring. Now, admittedly, these are the easiest types of factoring, okay? But that's what we're going to start with, okay? I'm not going to show you all the hard stuff today. Just keep it simple today, okay? Well, keep it simple. All right. Number 2. What is my C value? 20. So I'm going to write 20, and I'm going to write all the factor pairs that multiply to make 20, starting with 1. 1 times 20, right? And then make them both negative. Technically, those will multiply to make a +20. -1, -20. All right, what else multiplies to make 20? Okay, 10 times 2. I like to say 2 times 10. It's the same thing, doesn't matter. I'm trying to keep my smaller numbers on the left, that's why. Personal preference. It's the same thing. Okay, before we do 5 times 4, 2 times 10 and -2 times -10, right? Okay, so I did 1, I did 2. Does 3 go into 20? If you're not sure, you could just, in Desmos, what's 20 divided by 3? If it doesn't give you a whole number, it's not a factor. Okay, it's got to be whole numbers. Okay, so 3 doesn't work. 4 times 5 is what we said, so that works. And of course, -4 and -5, right? Cool. And that's it, because after 4, it's 5. We already have 5 on there. We're done. Bless you. Now, again, what do we do next? We're trying to pick which pair is going to add to make +9. 1 plus 20 is not 9. -1 minus 20 is not 9. 2 plus 10 is not 9. -2, -10, not 9. But 4 and 5 adds to make 9. Positive, right? -4 and -5 do not add to make +9. Okay, so it's only that +4 and that +5. Put your two parentheses, x and x. And again, since they're +4, +5, you put +4, +5. This is factoring, okay, basic quadratics when basically a is equal to 1. All right. Y'all ready for 3? So far it's been all plus signs, life's easy. Okay, it gets a slightly bit, not that much, but a slightly bit more challenging when you throw in some negative signs. So let's take a look at this. What is the C value? Tell me. -6, very important, okay? So if you only put 6, that might mess you up. So if there's a minus sign, bring it with it, it's a -6. So what multiplies to make a -6? Always start with 1 and the number. So 1 times -6. And then what do I change about that to also be true? -1 and +6, yeah. So if you just switch the signs, it'll still be true, right? It's still 1 negative. All right, what about after 1, 2? Does 2 go into 6? 2 times -3 and -2 times +3. That's all our possibilities, okay? And then, now that was C value. What is my B value? What is right here in front of X? Negative sign means -1, okay? Again, anytime you just see a negative, that means it's a negative 1, right? Stuff we learned on week 1. It'll haunt us for the rest of our lives. All right, so -1. What adds up to make -1? So what's 1 minus 6? Is that -1? No. -1 plus 6? No. Now here's the deal. Don't get confused. It's one of these bottom two, 2 minus 3 or -2 plus 3. So which one gives you a -1? What's 2 minus 3? 2 minus 3 equals -1. That's what I wanted, right? So it's got to be 2 minus 3. -2 plus 3 is a +1, but the sign would be wrong, okay? So you really need to think about this. Use Desmos to add numbers if you're not sure, okay? So since it's +2 and -3, I'm going to put my 2 parentheses and put x plus 2, x minus 2, and x plus 3. My bad. I was looking at the bottom. X plus 2 and x minus 3. Okay? So +2, -3, they multiply to make -6, and they add to make -1. Okay? Today, we're going to keep it simple, right? So do you see how this one has a number that's not 1 here? That's going to make things a little more complicated. So we're going to skip number 4 here, okay? And on your assignment I'm about to give you, you can skip number 8 when you get your assignment. It's kind of like number 4. Don't worry about it. It's all good. Okay. So I'm going to pass out this assignment. You want to make sure you finish yesterday's and turn it in. Work on this one. I got people who, I don't know why they could fight me, but I just showed you how to show your work. It clearly says in very large font and some caps here to show your work. Please show your work. That's all I can say. It is up to you, but if you want a grade, show your work, okay? Here we go.